Welcome to another podcast of You're gonna hit the bell, man, hit the bell. Fantastic. Welcome to another episode of Genius Days. Sumedh, what's the topic?
This Genius Days, we're doing a little bit of a recap of the Beast Camp. So essentially, what Beast Camp is, it's a type of boot camp. It's associated with, the laws of persuasion and influence and mindset and communication and relationships. And it's a part of the AZD process, which is an umbrella of IMC Nation, which is Integrated Martial Arts Concepts. And essentially, we attended 2 days of the boot camp so far. Today's the final day. Ivan's actually there live in person, which is awesome. And yeah. And so we're just basically going to talk about how to integrate the beast into society. Okay. So essentially the concept of the beast, basically our own id in a sense, okay, our own desire, our own primal nature, and we're able to tap into the beast through our own connection with that nature, connecting to very specific.
What the fuck happened?
Consists of workouts, of cold showers, of waking up really early, and of leading a very stoic mindset. So Ivan, do you want to kick us off? I know we didn't do a disclaimer, but if you want to kick people off with a bit of a disclaimer before we dive in.
Yeah, so okay, look, we're gonna talk about some stuff that, if you're a sheep, you might get offended because we're gonna talk about some shit that people like to pretend is not happening, but it's really going on a subconscious level in every single person's mind. So you're that person, please shut the fuck up and get the hell out of here. All right. Number two, you're a beautiful person. You're beautiful just the way you are. You don't need to fucking change now. Appreciate you being here. Number three, follow the laws of your land. Don't break the laws of your land. Number four, we're here to talk about our experiences. We're not here to change you. We're here for you to change yourself. All right, and that's it.
Facts, man. Awesome. So Ryan, let me ask you, man, what's been your experience of Beast Camp so far? Have you gotten any downloads, any epiphanies, any experiences that you want to share with the audience here?
Well, one of the main epiphanies was I've been going about life in a complete wrong way, and I've been causing myself to suffer unnecessarily, thinking that servitude towards the universe was the main purpose. Although yes, it is true, but going about it in the wrong way will cause a lot of suffering. Meaning, if I want to do something, I should simply do it, and whatever comes in that on that path simply becomes an obstacle to train with. It's like when you're wrestling, because I'm a wrestler, even though I have a pretty face, I wrestle often. Um, you need to practice with heavier fighters, stronger fighters, more athletic fighters in order to test your process, to test your system of martial arts. And this direct relates into my communication through this podcast, through first studying what I want. I've started to realize in the way that I communicate is completely off, and that will cause and that has caused a lot of turmoil in my own life. Because if I communicate, let's say, as a leader, but I communicate in the form of beta, I will cause a lot of unnecessary disruption later that I have to fix. And that includes in my relationships. be it with my parents, be it with my little sister and little brother, and be it in whatever girl I'm dating. I will cause so much headache that no wonder I feel stressed out when I'm dealing with such topics like, ah, shit, here we go again. And then I started to realize during this boot camp, no shit, here we go again. Look at what you've caused. And then ACD talks about cleaning up your communication lines or cutting off unproductive communication lines. If you see in the context of dating that it's going nowhere, cut it. If you see he has a boyfriend, cut it immediately. Be very strict in that. Else you have so much baggage to deal with that's not worth it because it deviates from, enjoying life truly. Those are one of the bigger epiphanies that I managed to get. Ivan, you're at the base camp now. What has been your, you know, gaining of power, let's say?
Yeah, bro. So right now, you know, we're taught when we're growing up what good and bad is. And that's not bad, that stuff's good, because we need to know not to look, we need to look before we cross the street. We need to know not to talk to certain strangers, blah, blah, blah. But it's separate from what it means to be a man, what it means to be a woman.
True.
And so, when you've been living your life like, oh, I need to be a good man. But before you could be a good man, you need to be good at being a
Being a
man.
man.
Hey, you read my mind. I struck a chord in your soul.
Yeah.
Second thing that I really wanted to say was, I'm on the way here from Texas, and I'm watching Black Panther.
Of course.
And they get to that scene where they're like, "Hey, we're gonna challenge. We're all here to open the challenge, and we'll fight. We're here to fight, and you win, then then I'm gone, and I lose, and you get the kingdom, right?" And so to be alpha, you have to be challenged. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's
Sir,
that is true.
I always
Ivan,
get what's up.
Ivan, it's hard to hear you, brother. Do you want to get closer to the mic somehow, or
I'm
because
super
it's hard
close,
to hear you?
super close to the mic, bro. Is it really, really that bad? Is it really bad?
It's better now, man. It's better now.
Okay,
It's a little better.
hold on. All right. Okay. Well, what was I saying? Y'all remember?
Yeah, you were talking about before being a good man, you should be good or learn to be good at being a man.
I know I had evolved it from there. So I talked about you have to be challenged if you want to have the number one position. You don't get to the number one position in the world by not winning. And the only way to win is to be challenged. And the only way to be number one is to beat of all the other people and to be better than them. Everybody talks about being number one, but you know what? They've killed our egos. Nobody wants to be number one no more. Everybody just talks about it like they live it vicariously through Michael Jordan and other high performers. Our egos killed. We don't want to win anymore because when we have to win, we have to beat other people. be on top of them. We have to submit them, and our energy to be dominant for everyone is just, it's been cut, and our ego has been killed. So yeah, what you guys thoughts?
Yeah, that whole ego speech that AZD gave, in terms of that was really profound to me when he was mentioning the fact that, in the laws of the jungle, there is only ego, right? There's no kind of like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna be a lion today, there's none of that, right? It just shows up, it does what it needs to do, and there's no self-doubt or like second guessing yourself. And I think one of the epiphanies for me personally is like the fact that people are watching, right? People are watching me. People are constantly on my feed and noticing what I'm doing and how I'm speaking and my beingness. So yeah, what you mentioned, Ivan, of that ambition second to none element, and really, optimizing your strengths. Like the example that AZD gave was like the cheetah runs when the lion is around, right? And I love that example where, if the lion is coming around, the cheetah just runs faster and optimizes its strength to demonstrate the fact that, hey, you might be different to me, you might be stronger to me, but I'm a faster runner than you, right? And just really fine tuning to take over. A rhino can run through a car. A cheetah won't be able to do the same thing, right? So it's important to know where are you in your lane, and understanding nature. We've got to really shine our light and understand what our strengths are, and be able to create and out-create our problems. But yeah, that was a big epiphany for me. I don't know how you guys felt about. Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, let me take it real quick. Out creating your problems is a great quote because it's literally one of the main principles that that has been coming up in the last 3 months at least during this piecing process for me personally. It uses the idea of using your own life to outcreate the obstacles that are in front of you because you have either A, no other choice, or B, the obstacle is literally the ingredients towards your next evolution. And somewhere along those lines, I believe, is where you get to evolve into your next phase. And you can see that clearly for those who are practicing beasting between the different phases of both. We currently have now 3 phases. If you switch between phase 1 to phase 2, there's a new challenge being introduced from creating a physical specimen that is, the fundamental beast towards a more spiritual animal that's connected both to the spiritual reality as well as the community, as well as the finances, you name it. And it's in the introduction of the challenge is where you get a chance to recreate or outcreate a problem and recreate yourself. What are your thoughts about it, Ivan?
Okay, yeah. So most definitely, you will have to start seeing yourself as number one in your life. That's how it has to be. It's not. We've been so this. Remember, we've been saying the ego killing, right? Oh, why is ego so important? Okay, I'm tired of people talking shit about the fucking ego. All right, why is the ego important? Because it is. We have it. It's like you have a dick, right? She has a vagina. Why is that important? It's important. It's here. It's literally here in the world for a reason. It's not an accident. Why do you have an ego? The ego is to separate you. You need to be separate. from the people around you, because otherwise you'll get enmeshed, you'll get tangled into their lives, right? You'll be like tribes and shit, like, you know, like super like old tribes in their world. Like, you are the tribe, you're not separate from the tribe. You can't be. It's not possible, right? Like, if it's good for you, if it's only good for you, then it's not good for the tribe. It has to be good for everyone for it to be good for the tribe. And that's how when our ego is stripped, we tend to think about what's good for everyone. And then in the end, we finish empty-handed. We done gave so much away. We gave so much away. We gave our fucking heart. And in that process, we gave our balls away. All of it is. Yeah, what's up? You got something to say?
Yeah, I just, you know, there's this in nature, when an animal gets into trouble, it's either fight or flight. And humans have another capacity, which is to get creative. And, you know, the beast is obviously the great fighter. And I'm just curious, you know, in terms of alpha, you know, is it really about being a beast and being the best fighter, or is it about using those creative faculties and using our higher consciousness? Because we don't, you know, the beast is the fighter.
It's about this, bro. It's about this. I can put it in 3 words: fight, fuck, eat. That's alpha. Just at the core. Like, alpha doesn't have to do
Yeah,
anything.
that's animal, but it's not higher creative.
Okay,
and so
the alpha's not about being higher creative. Alpha's about being alpha. That's it. Integrate the alpha into the rest of your life. That's it. It's not about only being alpha, but it's about knowing that this is what real alpha is and bringing it into your life.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah. I just want to state also that this beast camp focused primarily on alpha communication, right, rather than just being an alpha male in a sense. So alpha communication is very direct, it's very to the point, it's very effective, it's very clear, it's very concise, right? And so in a sense, that is closer to simplicity, therefore closer to nature, right? When we're overcomplicating things and adding lots of facts to things, like beta communication or toad communication compared to prince communication is what it's called, which is very interesting, is basically like adding a lot more barriers in the way. It's like the alpha creates the frame, the beta enters the frame. And so there is this kind of balanced or integration that needs to take place. So integrating the beast is not accepted in society, right? If someone is being a beast, the society is going to go, nope, sorry, we're going to cut you down, right? It's like the whole idea of tallest poppy gets cut, right, in Australia, tall poppy syndrome. So that's what culture does really to people, right? Is like, as men, we need to express our aggressiveness. However, it's got to be in a healthy way. However, any kind of aggressiveness nowadays is just seen as wrong or bad, or, you know, labeled as bad. And you know, men need roughhousing, you know, and this idea of really connecting with the physical world. And so I feel that it can go 2 tangents. One way, it's like, hey, we can use this alpha energy to build economies. But at the same time, that same alpha energy, if it's poisoned, it can be used for greed and manipulation and, like, you know, the guy behind the scenes pulling the puppet strings. So it's like how we use the alpha. And I think you're right, Joe. It's like how we use the tool, right? Rather than what it actually represents in a sense. Yeah.
You know, there's this Charles Darwin, the survival of the fittest. One of his laws was the law of requisite variety. And I think alpha and the beast, there's this idea of survivability. An alpha is one that survives, it doesn't end up dead. Right? It's about survivability. And yet there's this idea that the law of requisite variety basically says is the organism with the highest number of choices is the one that has the most survivability. And so, there's the beast that fights as a pure animal, but then there's the beast, then there's the martial artist who's not only a pure animal, but that is has high survivability, not just because of complete beastfulness, if that's a word, but the training, the wisdom, the tribal stuff that's passed down from sensei to student. And so there's the untamed beast, there's the trained beast, there's the high level beast, there's the beast that gets into the fight, that doesn't have a lot of training, and then there's the beast that's in the fight and has all this creative, problem solving. That I'm a beast and I'm a fighter, and yet my creative faculties that are at a very high level. And I don't know, that's just some of the shit that's coming up for me.
Awesome. So RJC says, as alpha, everything is an option. You decide how you want to live. Exactly, man. Yeah. It's like moving in the direction of what you want, right? As Ivan said to me a long time ago. It's very powerful. And I think this idea of also humble being primal, right, that AZD brought up. So the fact that we are monks, we're stoic monks, stoic warrior monks, right, is the fact that we are connected to the spiritual world, right? And that's where the higher faculties of creation come in. But the rest of us is this, well, it's our true nature, it's our aggressiveness, it's our potential, it's that directive masculine energy, right, that wants to create. And so if we don't have that angel or that monkhood element of it, the super ego doesn't know what to do with it, right? This energy, it's going to be out of control, and it's going to destroy anything in its path, in a sense, right? So we've got to understand how to cultivate the alpha energy. It's like the seed has been planted from these downloads from AZD, but how are we going to use this to better society, in a sense? If you guys have any ideas of how we can integrate the beast into society, now's the time to talk.
I've got a question about that, because the beast really isn't welcome into society on so many levels. And, we're in a cancel culture. If you're on your job and you show your beast, you might lose your job. If you're on Facebook and you show your beast, you might get canceled.
I got you. All right, so the same way that we know that alpha is separate, it's like a branch, it's like a pillar for living a great life. We also must be great seducers, right? So we also must bring that feminine energy, right? And seduction it's in its own lane, right? It's in its own lane. And so seduction to me is just like understanding what the other person is experiencing and learning to disarm them and getting them to put their walls down. That's kind of how I would think about it. And so like beast would just be like, oh, right? Like let's just say you walk into the store, excuse me, sir, can you put a mask on? No, fuck you, you sheep. But like a seducer would be like, they'd be like, oh, excuse me, sir, do you mind putting a mask on? No, I didn't bring one in here. Oh, we have some extra ones here. I really would rather not. Right. And just like, that's actually something that Like that word for word, sentence for sentence, was how I disarmed somebody at a store, and like like they they didn't give me a mask, and nobody was like tripping about it. But it's just, I wouldn't say like that was a difficult situation. Maybe like the girl was like, she just didn't want to. She just saw who I was and was like, okay, I'm not gonna like make this person do something he doesn't want to do, right? I don't want to force him to make him do something he doesn't want to do. And so I activated a part in her mind that said like, I don't want to take over this man's will, his free will, which is again associated to your ego, because the ego is the decision maker. The ego is the one that decides, are we gonna go like we're gonna take the higher conscious information, and we're gonna take the beast information, and we're gonna make our decision upon the context that we're in, right? And so that's ego. You have a strong ego, people can't impose their will upon you. What y'all thinking?
Society will try and impose their will on you. The question is, are you strong enough to say, I am me, accept me, like I am me, whether or not you accept me as me, I am a beast, take it or leave it. The problem is society wants to shut that shit down. And yet, like, I don't want to shut down that very essential part of me. Like that beast is an essential part of me. I shouldn't be a beast every 24/7, but there's a time to be calm, there's a time to be beast. There's a time to be sitting right in the middle, knowing I could go either way. I could just be chill, or I could be and that part that wants to go wah, it's not always welcome. That's one of the things I love about the dojo is, it's a very special place. You can't go around the house going, die, 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 but the dojo is a place where you can actually you can just let all that shit out. It's a special place where you can completely unload, and the truth is it's inappropriate to be unloading 24/7, but there in martial arts, there's this idea of like you walk through life and you're a feather, but when shit happens, it's like boom, you become a mountain and you just like crush, but then you can go back to being a feather. My sensei, one of my favorite quotes from sensei is harmony is the most precious element of our lives. And this is a very interesting idea to come from a martial arts sensei, guy that teaches, one shot, one kill, but if you really think about it, we want to live in a place of harmony, but we need to be able, when disharmony shows up, we need to show a little fucking disharmony to bring back the harmony. And I don't know, that's just shit that's coming up for me on that.
Interesting you should say that, man. Let me go first, Scripps. One of the things that came up for me was if you combine the idea of being a feather with being a beast, it perfectly describes the martial arts philosophy. If something hard comes, you have to be soft in order to move with the energy. This is true for wrestling, this is true for all striking sports. And if something becomes soft, perfect chance to counter it. That would be all. Scripps, what's up?
Yeah, man, I think this importance of values, right, is what's coming up for me in terms of this. AZD is just a symbiote, right? Like venom that each of us, it attaches to us. And it's sort of like, we experience it in our own unique way, right? That AZD energy. I know there's times in my head, throughout the day where I'm like, talking like AZD, my turn, it's like, it's all in a state of mind, like be the best, fuck the rest, right? All this stuff is going through my head. And I think when you look at the beast as a feeling, when you look at the beauty as a feeling, it really starts to change you from within, right? And yeah, as Coley said, these aren't gender or sex specific, right? To keep that harmonious balance. And one of the axioms is the alpha is here to be challenged, right? So like really understanding that, you're going to be challenged. If you're going to step into that alpha role, you're going to have to get hit with the arrows, because guess what? You're the pioneer, you're the leader, you're the person who takes the responsibility in the company. You're, the person in the spotlight. So you can't hide as an alpha. I think the alpha is the most truthful individual, right, that they can be. And the thing is about that power, why it's so powerful, is because we can't judge the truth. That's why nobody can test the alpha, because nobody can judge the truth of what the facts are, what logic is, right? And so I think that's what really symbolizes that energy, and why it's so pervading in Western society mostly, but also in the East, they have their own way of understanding the alpha. And I think that once we come together and really start to embrace this AZD symbiote, like become venom through that process, and bring our own individual flavor of that in our own lives, we'll just be like, the Avengers, spiritual Avengers. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, Masood, what's up, homie? How you interpreting this information? This is your first time here?
Yeah, it is, and I'm mainly just taking it all in, just seeing what this is about. I think it's pretty interesting what you mentioned of when you want to get into society, you want to seduce it, right? It's the same as if you want to seduce a woman, you have to think as she would think, because in a way you want her to submit, but you don't want to force her to submit. You want her to actually get to see you as a valuable alpha, or valuable man, or however it is that you want to come across. Because you have to think of it as her point of view. Uh, you're laying on top of her and getting inside of her. That's a pretty graphic scene, right? So if you want to penetrate the society, you have to see what they would get from it, what exactly they would get from this sort of beast mentality, and you have to show them that. Maybe sometimes you have to just work on yourself, work on your society, your inner group, your circle. So I really like what's going on here. That's a great example. But I think as more and more people see that, because people are very visual, people are that's why religion is so corrupt. It's been, in a way watered down, where people don't even know the truth anymore. It's just nobody knows anything right now, and people need to really experience that, and really feel this sort of this mindset that actually benefits not just one person but the entire society. So that's just kind of things that are coming to mind right now.
That's very true, man. They've diluted what it means to be a man and a woman, and people are just so confused. What's a man? You ask somebody what's a man, they're like, "Oh, what's a man?" Oh, no, they don't even know how to fucking answer you. You know why they don't know? Do you know why they don't know how to answer you? Because they don't even know what a woman is. Let me tell you what a woman is. She moves with nature. She is nature. She moves in cycles with the fucking moon. We need to accept that shit. That's what a woman is. A woman, that's her. She's that vessel. She is that vessel. We can't pretend it. No, it doesn't have to do with your appearance or how you feel on the inside, right? It's what is actually here. What is the fact? And so we've lost that world. We lost the world of facts. Now we're in the world of feelings, and this is how I think. No, you're not thinking, bitch. You're feeling. Yeah.
There's this idea of being a beast. And, and now we talk about, okay, I'm a beast in business. I'm productive. I'm a beast hunting. I kill food and I bring it back and put it on the table, but there's this idea of being a beast in the presence of a woman. And the thing is if we do it with permission, we are this amazing alpha lover. And if we do it without permission, we're a fucking rapist. And that's the crossroad where it's like it's okay to be a beast as long as you're being that beast with permission. But if you're being that beast without permission, the society says we're gonna lock you up, motherfucker. And so I think this is why so many men are feeling like, where the fuck are my balls? Because I want to be that beast, but I'm also on a playground where not everybody's giving permission, because like women are taking charge of like their own destiny as well. And so you got men being, beasts, and women being a beast, men being a beast saying, I want this, and women saying, hell no, you're not going to get this without my permission. And so they hold a lot of the strings to the beast. The feminine can control the beast and say whether the beast is acceptable in the tribe or not. Because he's being a beast with permission, okay, he's accepted in the tribe. But this man is being a beast without permission. It's like, fucking lock him up. And so I'm just curious what comes up for you guys around that.
Yeah, bro, there's a lot of alpha men in my family, but around their women, they're not alpha. So that means that they're not alpha. Because alpha means I'm number one, not I'm number two. So it's up for the beast to decide how he is the beast. And it's his decision in his own life that like he'll live with the consequences of his actions. And that's what makes it a beast, right? You feel me?
Yeah, man. So what I'm thinking about is this understanding of how Beast Phase 1 was all about really exploring our own isolation, right? Our own spaces, and being able to, in this little corner of the room, you can do whatever you want and create your own rituals and follow a specific structure of this workout routine. And it's very monk-like, it's very disciplined, sleeping on the floor. And it really starts that chain reaction. And then phase 2 is all about, creating your own religion. And I like that, Masood, I'm really glad you brought that up, because, it's so important for us to understand, our own discipline, right? And we don't have to follow a religion per se, but we must be religious people in the sense of having a, discipline. So it's really important to demonstrate, for the phase 3 of the beast, is to demonstrate that religion into the physical world. Now, it doesn't mean to be a converter, right? It doesn't mean like, I'm going to convert you into my religion now, right? But it's kind of this evangelist level of charm and understanding that, okay, here is what I'm offering you. There is this other solution out there. Why don't you hear my perspective? So that's really the process that I'm learning to understand, is the integration of the beast into society is also understanding where your boundaries are, right? And creating like rules for yourself, and creating specifically a religion for yourself where you can thrive. And it isn't something that others get to decide for you, but it's something that you get to decide for yourself, which is ultimately very empowering.
I really like what you said about putting boundaries and the creation of your own religion, because on the one hand, the religion really helps you structure your inner world. Referencing, authors like Michael Singer, the Kabbalion, you name it. Because, if the universe is mental, then your mental health is extremely important. At the same time, you as the alpha, you as the leader of your tribe, your company, your family, or whatever relationship you have, you need to put in boundaries to further progress, the growth of the tribe, the growth of the relationship, by protecting both you and your spouse, you name it. And what I've started to realize as well with the setting of boundaries is it keeps both parties safe. It's simply an agreement of we're not gonna hurt each other. Matter of fact, we're gonna go beyond, the not hurting each other and help each other grow towards something better and grow out of the pains of the past, because that is my responsibility should I take on whatever challenge, be it a company or a woman, so to speak. Ivan, your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Mic check. Mic check. Testing 1, 2, 3. Just doing a pattern interrupt on you guys. Practicing my NLP. Let's go back to a basic truth. What are the most basic truth that is here, that is evident, that is real, is not a feeling, is that man was created to fuck women, women was created to fuck man. That's it. That's it. If it didn't, it was meant to fit like a sock, like a foot in a sock. Socks were just meant to be put on a foot. You're not gonna tell me socks was made to put on your ears. No. Now, at the beginning of the pandemic, I saw a video how to make a sock, how to cut it up and make it into a face mask. If you needed to make a face mask, if they ran out, I saw a video. So you could turn a sock into something that it's not meant to do, right? But in its full potential and its authentic, what it was created to do, they didn't create the mask. If you wanted a real authentic mask, you go and get it, right? So you'd get just a mask that was made just for that, right? And so I don't know, for some reason that seemed to be like a really good example. It seemed, I was like, oh shit. Yeah, so that's what we were made to do. We have to accept that, and start ignoring it. That's why. Let me see. Yeah, go ahead.
One of the things that's really coming up for me is the beast as the beast, alone as the beast, is the untamed beast. And there's this real importance to blend the beast with the monk, with the spirit. We want to be the beast that's the warrior, but it really helps if we blend the warrior with the saint, or the warrior with the monk, or the warrior with the spirit. And to me, the beast is really kind of, the beast that's untamed is just a fucking animal that has no conscience. It has no code. It has no, it just has just straight up desire, without conscious thought. But if you have that beast that has all this desire and yet also carries this monk, this spirit, this higher consciousness, I'm going through some papers. I'm a digital nomad, but I got papers with me, and we all have a desire for justice. We all have a desire for love. We have a desire for order. We have a desire for pleasure. We have a desire for validation. We have fear of the unknown and the unknowable. We have a fear of death, and there's a challenge. The challenge of morality is when choices have to be made. And I, this idea of the beast as the beast alone doesn't necessarily fit in society. But if the beast is tempered with the monk, if the beast walks as a priest, I'm a priest beast. All of a sudden, I think that that's the way that we make the beast work in this society, in this world. Is I am a beast, but it's blended with the priest. I am a priest that has this powerful beast within. And so I think if we want the beast blended with the priest is how we can move towards the feast.
I got it.
Bars,
You know,
bars.
you know
Go
how it,
ahead.
you know how in Avengers, when in the middle of the movie, they ask the Hulk, Bruce Banner, how do you stop being so like in the Hulk? He doesn't really answer. Right, all the way to the end of the movie. Right, they're about to fight now. They're in their little assembly line, and Bruce Banner's like, the truth is, I'm always angry. And he like emerges into the Hulk, right? So they asked him like, how do you stop yourself from being angry? Because that's what would get him into the Hulk mode, right? And he's like, the truth is, I'm always angry, and that's how it is. You always the beast. You're always beast. It's on a double layer, right? So or you have to double layer your communication. You can't one layer it, right? So you have to speak emotionally and you have to speak logically. And so emotionally, you're communicating what's inside of you, right? That's the emotion that's being created. Like the person is receiving what's inside of you, right? Um, that's in the emotion, right? And in the logical, we're hitting what society like thinks or needs, right? And so that's why we were showing this movie clip, and this guy, his house gets broken into. This is in like Siberia, Russia, some like super long ass time ago, and this is like a super big a police officer with his gun inside his house and shit. And the guy stays on his seat. I think he was like knitting. I don't know what the fuck he was doing with his hands. He was knitting, and the guy grabs. He the policeman asks him a question, and the guy's like, he turns to his wife and he's like, "Can you please tell this pig that who does he think he is to come in the middle of the night into an honest criminal's home?" And so on the inside, he's angry, but on the outside, he's super calm and respectful, right? Like he's not like he was disrespectful with the word that he used, but with his tone, he wasn't disrespectful, right? And so you see, and so you see here, that's how you could say disrespectful words without being disrespectful, because that would mean they're not disrespectful by nature. They're just disrespectful by tone. What's the tone that you're creating, that you're giving, right? How y'all feel?
Yeah, man, that's so true. And it's just reminding me of being able to amplify our emotions. Like a lot of the times we want to say something, but there's no gravitas, there's no grit there, there's no sense of like foundation into what we're really saying. But when it's within a context, like as Joe says, it's so powerful because then you can not have it only be about you, but also be about a greater community. So I think one of the elements of the alpha is that they're very social, right? Very social. In fact, I think they feel a little bit weird when they're not being social. So in the elements of understanding that alpha nature, it's also about creating the tribe and stepping in as the tribal leader. And in order to do that, I mean, the greatest speakers on the planet have a combination of that, right? Like if you take, let's say, Martin Luther King for an example, right? He was a part of a movement right? So he created a movement with his words, and he didn't just dominate, he dominated with love. So I think that that element really makes your character powerful. And yeah, what Ivan said in terms of having that base, and what you said on Lions Den yesterday, Ivan, was powerful. You said, I can choose when to be a wildfire in a forest or when to be a searing hot coal. And I think that is, again, really important, that we understand that we are this choice maker and we are cause of our lives and not the effect of our lives.
Yeah, bro. You gotta know when to be hot, what level of hotness. But actually, Sumedh, I want to tweak a little bit what you said. You said the alpha is social. I'd say the more proper word is expressive. Right. The socialness just happens to be as a part of the expression.
I could agree with that. Yeah.
And so while other people are trying to impress people, right, the alpha expresses, right? And so what happens when you're trying to impress somebody? You consciously think about what you're about to say or do. You go inside and discuss it with yourself. But when you express, it comes from spontaneity. And spontaneity comes from a strong navel fucking chakra. Goddamn, how many times am I gonna fucking have to bring this shit up today? The ego, navel chakra, yellow. Free will. Do what you want, say what you want, you have the right to talk to whoever you want. You have the right to go up to any person that you'd like to, be it potential client. You have the right. You have, in fact, you have to. It's almost like your duty. It's your fucking duty to go and talk to that person, right? And although you might prepare beforehand, you're gonna counter problems in the moment of prospecting them. And those are not gonna, you can't solve those problems through going in that moment. You have to come, what's already inside of you, bring that out into the world, into them, and it's gonna hit them. It's gonna hit them. It's got to hit them. There's no way it doesn't hit them. There's just no way. It's like, it's natural. It's just the most natural thing. It's just the most natural thing. People are like, oh, let me get rid of fear. You can't. It's just natural. It's natural to have fear. Don't even worry about it. It's like, oh, it's like trying to get rid of a pimple. Hey, it's natural. You can wash and do whatever you got to do to it, but if it's gonna be there, it's gonna be there. Life's still going. On top of the fear, life's still going. And anytime that I feel fear, I realize I'm thinking small. And I've dethroned myself. I became beta to my problem. My problem became alpha over me.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're just in a constant state of like, you're not always going to be alpha. That's the truth. Obviously, when your dad's around, you respect him more. He's like, yeah, you're the man here. You're the man here. You come to my world, I'm the man over there. But here, this is your world. I respect you. You're alpha here. Yeah.
Powerful, brother. I have two questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
First question is, how did you experience meeting AZD live in person for the first time? What was that like for you, bro?
You know, it's just kind of like you see the people, that are there, and they're real, and just by looking at people, you can see it. You acknowledge that they exist. So it was cool to see someone and like in a way acknowledge how they exist in the world. Because even if you see them online, it's like, yeah, they exist, but yeah, I mean, it's been good. I've been liking my time here. And I've just been uh vibing with everybody. I've been vibing with everybody since the moment I got here. It's been good, and I'm happy to be amongst beasts because whenever I'm around more normal people, more normal, that normal that really is not normal.
Abby normal.
Abby, yeah, Abby normal. They're not able. They don't. It's like giving diamonds to a chimp, right? They have no clue what the fuck is even here. So they're like, oh, if you're not food, you got to pay a chimp with bananas. Can't give him cash. Can't give him a job. They won't understand. So it's nice to be around people who understand like who the fuck I am, because it's been a lonely life of people not knowing.
Powerful, brother. My second question is, what do you think of this idea of, the alpha is always here to be challenged? Wouldn't you say that the beta also gets tested or challenged in a different way? How would you differentiate those two energies and clarify to that?
Life is a challenge for every single person all the time, but you only get to prove yourself by the way that you solve that problem, right? And so the way that you solved it, that's what made you alpha. You feel me? And so you could think that some person's like a beta or an omega, right? And and like they go through a situation and the way they solve it, and you're like, oh, goddamn, I didn't know it was like that. And so I mean, in an instant, you can go from it. In an instant, because you might be solving a challenge that you're accustomed to. You've solved it many times already. You're good at solving it, but it might be something that makes you scared, makes you nervous, and it's unfamiliar. In an instant, you lose it. Does that make sense to you? I
Yeah,
think it
man.
makes sense.
Thank you for that clarification.
Oh, you're
Uh,
welcome.
Ryan, any closing thoughts, any final words that you want to say in terms of this topic, brother?
I believe that life is truly a challenge. That is true, but the challenge has to be used to build yourself, to correct the wrongs that is within, that's without, and evolve into a better beast, so to speak. I truly believe that all answers are available in your own life, and you already know what you have to do, but you need to have the balls or ovaries to get the job done. And regardless of whether society takes it away or not, it's still in my power. Take it back. And it's in that message or in that spirit I want to send all of you off to get your balls back, straighten your spine, and get your hands dirty towards getting the life that you think you desire. I believe that will be it, Sumedh.
Awesome, awesome, guys. So yeah, we're ending right now. So if anybody has any final remarks, any final questions, now's the time to ask us.
Yeah. Is this every week, every Sundays? Is there any other
Yes,
meetings?
every Sunday at the same time. So feel free to join.
Nice.
Fantastic. Any other questions, Masood?
Yeah, you're right. It's Masood, but I don't have anything other questions. I really like the vibe here. I like the topics that are coming up. Really like high vibe, a little bit more higher vibrations than you go out to a store and have a conversation there, right? So I really love this, and I look forward to coming back on Sunday.
Fantastic, fantastic. All about the high vibes, and Cody's mohawk. Love it, love
Uh,
it. Was
all right. Thank you for tuning in. May the flow be with you. May you never be the same again, and stay legendary. See you guys next time.
see you guys next time. Bye, guys.